Hi friends, it's Terri Gaines. In this video tutorial, I'm going to share a fun fold card with you that I've created with the Floral Delight 12 by 12 Designer Series paper. This paper has beautiful floral prints on one side and background prints on the other side. For the card I'm going to assemble in the tutorial, I'm going to use two of the background sides of the paper. Now, when I'm done showing you the card, how to create it, I do have two more samples using the same Designer Series paper, but the different prints, and I have additional samples with other Designer Series papers. Now, this is an original design. I'm super excited to give you all the details so you can recreate it. And as I mentioned, it's going to be an Easter card for the tutorial. So I have stamped the Easter greetings from the Storybook Friends stamp set, and I've already stamped that ahead of time, and I cut it out with one of the countryside corner dies. It's not the smallest die, but the die that will fit around the sentiment. So I've got that cut ahead of time. And then I have some elements to decorate my card, and I use the linked together dies. Now this die set is bundled with a stamp set that has 8 sentiments, so you can get them both at a 10% savings. I'm actually just going to be using the dies for the card. So I have done some work ahead of time. This one die will cut out 4 flowers, so I cut out 8 of those. So I ran it through my die cutting machine 2 times to get 4 or 8 basic white flowers cut out. And I also use this die 1 time and this die 4 times for this card. Now I do want to tell you on the back side of this, I do have adhesive sheets. So how that works is, what you'd want to do before you die cut is take the adhesive sheets. We sell these in a package. You get 12 sheets. They're 6 inches by 12 inches. I cut mine down to size. So I have one that is 4 by 6. And then what I would do is cut my cardstock the very same size. Then one of these, or one side of it, has a backing that you peel off. So that you would peel it off and adhere that to the back. And then you would die cut from the front. So if you were to die cut from the front, you would have that adhesive on the back. So I did that prep work ahead of time. Now I mentioned I have additional samples to share with you. Some of them are using this die from the very same die set. So I'm excited to show you how to create this card. And so I've got all of that work done ahead of time. So I'm going to just move that off to the side. Now I will also let you know that I have a PDF that you can download. I offer many free PDFs, and you can download those from my blog. If you found me via YouTube, the text portion of this video will link you to the blog post to download the PDF. It has the measurements. This video is the assembly instructions. So I would love you to watch the entire video to get all the details, because I have tips to show you on how to assemble the card and give you all the details to recreate it. Now, the card base I'm using for this is Daffodil Delight, and it is 8.5 by 5.5. It needs to be scored in 2 locations. So I'm going to grab my Simply Scoring tool. I forgot to move that over here. So I've got that, and let's see, did I have my stylus close by? Here it is. So this is very important to have on hand. So I have already mentioned this cardstock is 8.5 by 5.5. It is scored at 4 1/4. I use the larger end of the stylus. There's a small end and a large end. I use the large end and score that at 4 1/4 and also at 7 1/4. Now this is folding this in half, and this additional score is on the top. What I like to do is push both the back of the card and the front of the card to this wall, and that helps me make sure that I fold this and make sure that it's even here and even there. So this fun fold is going to open like this. Got a little Z fold on the front. So now what I'm going to do is talk about the next thing I have here is a cardstock, the same color as your card base. So whatever color you have for your card base, you're going to cut out a piece that is 3 3/4 by 1 1/4. The designer series paper for the card, there's two pieces. One is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. That's going to go here. And then this one is going to be 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to go here. Now, I did tell you that I am using the back side of the paper, and you'll see why I'm using that. And I'll just share with you why I'm using it. I could use either side, but I'm going to put a lot of floral designs on my card, so I want a background for this one. So what I'm doing is putting my adhesive on those beautiful flowers. So hard to cover those up, but as I mentioned, that's what I'm going to choose to do for this card. I'm going to look for equal spacing on the top and bottom and the side. I'm going to let this one just fall into place. So that's going to be adhered like that. So this is the 4 by 5 1/4. That's adhered here. The 2 3/4 by 5 1/4 is adhered right here. So I'm going to put my adhesive on the back of this. And as I mentioned, I have additional samples to share with you with other designer series paper. I think you're going to like how this all comes together, and I have additional samples. So that's how you put that on. Then we have designer series paper for the cross. This is going to be a cross that is on this fun fold, and this is 1 1/8 by 5 3/8. We're going to adhere that on this front panel. So I'm going to put my adhesive on the back side, and this is about a 1/16 of an inch spacing on all sides of this. I chose to make this to be a tad bit taller than this designer series paper. I wanted this part to stand out a little bit more. Now this designer series paper is 3 5/8 by 1 1/8, and that is going to go on the cardstock here. So I'm going to look at opposite corners, and if I look at opposite corners, I can see all 4 sides for equal spacing. So this is going to create a cross like this. All of these floral images are going to decorate this card. So how I'm going to assemble this is I'm going to bring my Simply Scoring tool back into the picture because I'm going to use the wall here. But first what I want to do is put the adhesive on. So I'm going to put this about here, and I want the adhesive just on this panel, but underneath here. So how I do that is determine that is I put this underneath, saying this is about the location I would want it to go. And for purposes so you can see on the video, I'm going to use tear and tape. That way you can see the placement. What I do is I put that here, so then I know that I am going to put my adhesive below this line and above this line, just right there on that panel. So if I put it right there, then I'm going to take the backing off. You can use your favorite adhesive for this part. So I have my adhesive here. Now I'm going to turn it like this, because if I push that against the wall and this edge against the wall, that's going to help me get my alignment, and then just let it fall right onto the adhesive. And as I mentioned, that's going to be a fun fold with a cross. I'm going to use a lot of floral images on here to dress this up for an Easter card. So that's where all of these come into play. And I've mentioned a couple times already, I have additional samples. I'm excited to share those with you. So now I'm going to take this, and I took the backing off, and I'm going to place this on the lower portion and just slightly press that down. Excuse me. Then I'm going to take this smaller one. And did I mention that already? I have 1 of these and 4 of these. So this one is going to just kind of meet up right here. And I'm going to let you know that these intersections where they meet are going to be camouflaged with a flower. And I also want to cut off the bottom leaf off of this top one. Now, when you use adhesive sheets, you do need to apply pressure to burnish it, but I'm not going to do that until I get everything placed where I want it to go. Now, I am going to let you know, you might have thought, and I tried this already, if I put one here and put another one here, maybe that would be better than two of those. But I wanted this to curve a little bit more, and I felt the two worked better. I played around with this design, made lots of different samples and prototypes that end up being trash because they don't quite look right. But I decided to do 4. 1 large and 4 small ones. And see how I'm dressing this up? It's just making a difference and bringing the floral design in with the embellishments. So I'm going to camouflage that also with a flower. So now what I can do is burnish this. When you're using adhesive sheets, you do want to apply pressure. You need to put pressure so that adhesive burnishes to your project. Otherwise it will peel back up. And it's okay while you're trying to figure out where you want things placed. But once you know where you want it to be, then you want to burnish those into place. So now we have the flowers. And I should have thought about this. I could have popped these onto some mini glue dots already, but that won't take too long. Mini glue dots are just a little dot on the paper here. You get, I think there's like 250 in this roll. They're very strong. They don't have much of a dimension in height for you, but they're perfect. Now I need 7 flowers for this project, and with 2 runs through the die cutting machine, I got 8, so I only need 7. So I've got those. Now, as I mentioned, some of these are going to get camouflage. So I do need to camouflage that one for sure. So I'm going to cover that one up. And then I'm going to put one on each end over here. And I usually just look at the intersection where the greenery lies. That's kind of right up here. I'm going to put one there. I'm going to camouflage that intersection. Put one down here. And the last one right here. So see how that is just dressing that up with that background designer series paper. Now we have a hole cut with the die, and we got a mini glue dot, sticky mini glue dot there, but we're going to cover that up with the glossy dot assortments. 4 different colors, 3 different sizes. I have a packet already opened with these, and I'm going to do a combination. We have 5 of the small ones, so I think what I'll do is I'll go every other one for a small one. And you know what I'll do? I have that other package sitting right there. What was I thinking? I don't need to use a different size. I can just use all of these. And I could take the medium ones, but I'm going to go ahead and just grab 2 of them off of this sheet. So we'll just fill those in, and these are perfect for filling in that little circle and just adding an embellishment. You can see how that just dressed that up. Just love how this turned out. Now I do have my Easter greeting. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. I did stamp that already and die cut it, but I cut this out of basic white, and I want it a little bit more durable. So I'm going to put adhesive on the back of it and meet it up with another one. And then I'm going to put adhesive right here and tuck this underneath this piece. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck it underneath here and look for alignment and put pressure down, and I want it tucked just to the back like that. And then I have an inside sentiment layer. Now I've indicated that this is where you would sign your card. So I indicated that measurement as the max size. I actually cut the countryside corner dies and layered those onto the old olive. So that's where you would sign the card, write your message, and you could put an inside sentiment on there too. Now this card, I just love how it looks flat, but when it displays, the cross pops out and moves forward from the rest of the card and just has a beautiful displayed image. And just love how this card turned out. As I mentioned, it's my original design. I've not seen anyone create this yet, so I'm excited to share it with everybody and give you the measurements. Now on this card, I use that die that I told you about, have my sentiment here. I have extra layers in there. On my PDF, I'm going to include adding optional layers, it added measurements for the added layer behind the designer series paper and behind that. Now this one pops out, and just envision that that cross is going to be right in front, and then you see that beautiful paper in the background. So this card, I actually brought in the butterflies. The butterflies are from the beautiful butterfly dies, this die and that one. And so it was fun to add the butterfly to that. And in this case, I have the background here, floral here, and I just did it opposite with this, floral and background. Now I did share I have additional samples, and they don't need to be holiday or Easter cards. This could be a confirmation card. I just have a floral design here, and then with the white card base, this is where you would sign. Now these two cards, I'm using the Country Woods 12 by 12 paper. You've got these 6 different double-sided prints that are all wood grain. All of these would work out for this card. So I'm using a couple of the different prints and on both of these. In this one, I have a sentiment that I used from the Unbounded Love stamp set. Many of the sentiments in this stamp set would work great for these type of cards. And again, here's where you would sign your card. In this one, both of these would just be really nice for confirmation or an event. So here's another card. This one I use I keep forgetting the name of this, Seasons of Elegance 12 by 12 paper. This has got a gold design on one side and background on the other side. I use this print for this card. The card base is crumb cake, and then I have the gold butterfly. And as I mentioned, these cards just display beautifully. I have 2 more cards to share with you, and they both are created with a Nature Sweetness Designer Series paper. This is also a specialty paper. It's got a gold design on one side. This one I gold embossed the sentiment and have a nice display. And then this one I did the same card that I just shared with you, and I used gold foil for the greenery part and the flower part, and used the matted embellishments for the center of the flowers. So I hope you enjoyed this fun fold. As I mentioned, I have a free PDF that you can download. I have several PDFs that I offer on my blog, and these are available so you can duplicate the card. I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my videos, share my videos. And as I mentioned, this is an original design. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Take care and happy creating.